so it's live when people get here.
You need to share it to the Blacklist.
All right, we're a little early, so if you miss this, you're not missing much. I'm just gonna get the camera set up.
Of course.
Make sure it doesn't get a bad angle, or make sure I don't mess up this angle. Can you see on there? On my phone.
Yeah, we can tweak it after we, like.
I just want to make sure it's gonna hold.
It'll have to move a little bit, but.
So just put it here. Probably a better view there. It's gonna be front heavy though, so better not move the table so it can topple easily.
I think at that point you can. Oh, you lowered those a little bit.
Lower the front too.
And you can do that the opposite. Right? You can just lower the front one.
I did.
Yeah.
Turn the volume down here.
Are you sharing it?
Yep.
I'm gonna share it to the Blacklist's Facebook page. You want to share it to Blacklist page, then since you can type faster.
Blacklist's like main page?
Facebook page, yeah.
I'm gonna put it on the solo group, but I mean, if you want to put it anywhere else, fine. Here we go. Well, yeah, we almost go. We're gonna. Is this like frozen? Cause like I'm on the live thing and I just see a frozen picture. Oh wait.
Maybe you paused it.
No, I'm gonna reload it real quick. Oh, I think I was just sitting still. Okay, cool. Awesome, good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just a little lagged.
Hey Dorian, what's up?
All right, I'm gonna try to keep track of comments as we go along here.
Well, we have. I don't know if we should start. We got 6 minutes until.
Oh,
We could start.
we can move this to be like so we can talk a little bit,
Move it where?
just facing us. I don't know if you want to hold it or if you want to put it on the tripod and just angle it up so we can talk to.
Oh, I don't want to move the.
Oh,
I was figuring we do that after the game, after play.
well, I think you can get a better angle at the corner again. I think. I'm trying to get as much of the board as we can with this
Hope
tripod.
nobody has epilepsy or vertigo because it's going to be moving a little bit here. I think it was fine as it was.
This is a weird angle.
Would you guys take some votes on here. Would you guys rather see from our perspective, like see our cards and everything, or would you rather see a better picture of the board?
Try putting the tripod here. Even though it'd be in my play area, maybe it'll look better.
I think you might want to move back further. You're moving really close.
Yeah.
Because right now you can't see any of the cards. So right now you're just seeing a lot of this over here.
All right, we'll go back to where it was.
All right, yeah, we'll show cards as we need to, but we'll give you guys a better board view. If anybody has any preferences, just go ahead and put in the comments, but should be okay to see the action.
We have 5 minutes to go, so anybody want to tell their friends if they're interested in Brook City?
Doing well, Dorian. How
Share
you
the
doing?
link around.
Spent a lot of the morning doing some proofing for Aftershock and working on our new secret project, in addition to Alter Quest, so staying busy. These are nice breaks, though. I'm gonna grab my lunch.
We have most of everything set up here for, we are playing the Velocity expansion. This includes the Velocity case, Lita, the criminal, and I'm playing as Chance Mitchell, the cop. Good. I think we can probably actually shift it over this way a little bit, even though it's not centered into the table. That way people can see more of it. I don't know why we didn't think of that earlier. Move the vehicles over here. Where's the rec deck anyway? Oh, down there. I'm gonna move the board just over that way a little bit, even though it's not centered on the table. Doesn't really matter.
I had the vehicles there for a reason.
I know, but now they're over here. We'll wait till exactly noon before we start digging into the details.
The board looks big on the table, but luckily there's still enough room for cards and everything. I was expecting it to be bigger during development, but we kept it like the size of an Eldritch Horror board.
Setup time, Dorian.
Actually, I should have waited to set it up.
Actually,
so you can see that. But
we
yeah,
can.
It's like, yeah. I mean, it's if you're familiar with Street Masters, it could be.
I would say
quicker than that.
5 minutes is
Less
a good.
than that. Yeah. I mean, you break the board out. As long as you have your stuff separated, like your cards and everything, we have like the card. Where'd you put the card holder?
It's up there.
So.
Oh yeah,
So-
this is something that was on the Kickstarter, or we didn't show it on the Kickstarter.
So yeah, as long as you have everything separated, it's all that matters. Just putting the board out, putting all your tokens out, choose your decks, and then place everything on the board. And the setups will vary depending on what case and suspect you're playing. But
I'm not sure if Blacklist mentioned this in any of their updates yet. I have to check, but anybody who saw the unboxing might have noticed that Brady and I were a little concerned about card trays for using the card dividers. So we had these printed up, and they were added to the box. This is like a printed art card tray that you can fit all your cards in.
they come flat. You just assemble
Yeah,
it.
it's just
fold it out.
it's like a folding box. But it's good material and looks nice. It's got like a matte finish. So, but yeah, those are all the card decks in the game.
All right, we got a couple minutes still. Let me see where else I can share this out, just so some people aware of it. People seem to always use
Dorian, does it fit? Someone asked if it fits sleeved.
I'm pretty sure.
Brady doesn't sleeve his cards, but
Yeah, I'm. Once we're done playtesting a game and developing a game, I just never want to see a sleeve again. So
well, I'll actually grab a sleeve real quick to confirm.
yeah, but I'm almost positive those are measured to fit the sleeves.
Of course, I don't really have a ton of sleeves.
Use your.
All my sleeves are at your house. Ah. So I can confirm that sleeve cards. I got this handsome guy here sleeved, and he fits in there just fine. But as far as have them all sleeved, I'm not sure. I'd have to sleeve them all to see if they fill up the entire tray or not. But
Then you just buy another copy of the game and get another.
Yeah, that's fine. You guys can do that.
All right, it is 12 p.m. Eastern, so we'll go ahead and get started. So we've took some votes, and we got everyone requesting they wanted to see.
Well, first off, welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Playing Brook City here.
Which is a Kickstarter game that funded over the summer last year, and it's expected to deliver pretty soon.
Where's Chance's miniature?
Probably in the baggie in this box here.
Okay, go on.
So yeah, this is on the boat. That's should be hitting shores. No, in this thing, in there. There's a little bag of figures that are cops. But yeah, it's should be back in the backers' hands pretty soon with a quick release after that. We're gonna be playing a few decks from a couple decks from the expansion.
All the decks from the expansion?
Yeah, from the Velocity expansion. Here's the rule sheet for it. We're playing Lita as our criminal. Lita Wicks, whose likeness is based on my wife. She's from Street Masters also. And she is starting off in the BCDPD. She's one of the only criminals right now that starts under arrest, so she's already being interrogated. The problem is her crimes are all bombs that are placed around the city, so having her under arrest isn't that useful while she's got bombers everywhere. So that's the criminal setup. She's ready to go. She's got her setup card here, her operation card, her hideout, which is one of her special cards. And then we have the Velocity case. This one has a bus that's been strapped with explosives that's driving around the city. And we could read the briefing on both of these. I guess
I'll read the case first.
Yeah, the case.
So this is the Velocity card divider that's included in the game. It has a nice little overview. Thanks, written to Scotty. Thanks, Scotty.
Written to Scotty?
Written by Scotty. So this is the Velocity case. One of our perps in lockup just told us something that we can't ignore. They claim there's a bomb on a bus, and if said bus slows down, the explosives will detonate. That sounds familiar. I'm not sure how reliable this information is, but any bomb threat is one we need to take seriously. With hundreds of buses in operation at any given time, it would normally be impossible to find the one we're looking for. But a little extra time with Fulton made our prisoner spit out the bus number. We're still trying to get the bus route from the transit authority, but I've already scrambled men throughout the city to clear traffic. With any luck, we'll avoid accidents and offer the bus an open road while we try to figure out how to deal with the situation. Boys, days like these make me wish I drank decaf. Claire Murray.
So this one is all about trying to not let the bus hit anything, and this introduces a new core rule that you can add to any game, but this case requires it, is the wreck rules. So the wreck deck has a whole special rule card here that goes to the case play area, and it adds the wreck deck to the game, plus if you want to show some of those wreck miniatures, it adds those. So anytime, normally, you can like hop in and out of cars and lose control of your cars in this game, no problem. But in this game, if a vehicle ever leaves play, it's considered to be like wrecked. It causes an accident, so you put one of these wrecked sculpts in the board, and those are hurdles essentially for cops to get through. They suffer stress if you go through them. But if the bus ever hits one, we lose because the bus blew up and it hit a wreck. So we have to keep the streets clear. It's also part of the case. We have to also barricade streets with wrecks.
And if there are too many wrecks on the board, then we have to draw a wreck card, from the wreck deck, and it's typically bad stuff.
They're like a negative currency, so the more wrecks on the board, the worse those events are going to be.
And again, this wreck mechanic can be socketed into any game you want to make your game a little more complicated and difficult, but the Velocity case specifically calls for it.
So Lita's criminal deck, her backstory: the Black Daughter of the Onyx League is considered a non-violent bomber because she evacuates her targets, corporate and government buildings, before turning them into rubble. Some label her anarchist tendencies as pacifist, but I don't buy it. She cost her hometown of Ransom City a fortune in damages, so she's clearly got a screw loose. Only a matter of time before someone like that kills. That's why we put out an APB at the moment. We heard she was in town. Didn't take long before we found her near the courthouse. She's been in a cell since. Sure, we have nothing on her, but until we know her plans, I'm going to hold her as long as legally possible. She's not going anywhere until she spills the beans. Until then, let's hope her crew doesn't get antsy. So, everything all set up?
Real quick, you did not bring your playmat, right?
I don't.
We have one? I'm not sure.
We might. I don't think we actually have a final one. I think we just. No, we do. Yeah, we do.
Okay,
I don't have it with
but
me.
Brady did not bring it with him.
You don't have it.
But we only have that one copy.
I know, but I thought I brought it over here. But...
You can imagine this board right here would have a card area right here at the bottom and at the top. So you could extend this off about, few inches, top and bottom.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's pretty much enough to fit like decks on top.
So
and
yeah,
bottom.
these card play areas, like I believe the criminals on top and the case at the bottom.
Well, there's the case and the criminal on the same side,
Yeah,
and then it's got like the
up there is the
lead
leads, the vehicles, and all that stuff. So basically, all these card decks that we have out here would just be top and the bottom of the board. Next time though, we'll do another playthrough, hopefully soon, and we will use the mat that next time just so you guys can see it.
Yeah, I think the only reason I didn't have it with me is because first off, we're
at my house, and it's at Brady's house.
And it doesn't. I consolidated everything into these two boxes, into the Brook City core box and the Brook City Delta Keys box. So it obviously wouldn't fit in there, so I didn't bring it with me. Next time though. So yeah, I'm gonna be playing Lester Nelson. He is a seasoned veteran. I actually have his bio, but we'll, since it's the core game one, we'll not read it right now on the live Adam's Chance
and
Mitchell.
I'm playing Chance, and Chance is actually based off of Mitch, who actually helped design this expansion.
Velocity. Yeah, he wrote this case, and
he's a game developer that helps us out a lot with all our games. But yeah, this is his cop, and is based off of a character who is like an actor, and he's studying being a cop, but he's trying to, like, nobody knows he's not actually a cop, so he's trying to pretend to be a cop, and sometimes he can't, he's in over his head, but he's a very interesting cop to play.
So the goal of this particular case, besides not letting the bus blow up, is we have a series of clues to work out. They're numbered 1 through 5, which is kind of unique to this case. So it starts with number 1 in play, and this first clue is called Agent on Board. A cop near the bus may discard a vehicle they control. If they do, the cops as a group must discard 1 P hunches, which is 2 for us, to take control of a clue token and remove this card from the game. When we earn clue tokens in this case, they're like a currency to help us control the bus so it doesn't blow up. But we have to get through all 5 of those clues to win. Our actually win condition is, it says on the, just as it gives you a little brief spoiler, but on the top case rule it says, if the bus enters a water area while a cop is driving it, the cops win. So clearly we have to drive this thing. Clearly we have to jump the river. So that's our win condition.
Did you mention the numbers?
Yeah, I just said that they're number 1 through 5, which is kind of unique to the case. So we'll go ahead and get started.
And just so you guys know, when you start the game off, as a cop, you start in Brooks in the BCPD. You start with your vehicle in a street next to BCPD, and typically you want to be next to it so you can easily hop into your vehicle. And also Lita, the criminal, she actually starts in lockup. So she's in custody. We can question her, but she's got her criminals causing all kinds of trouble out on the streets. So
I'm going to go ahead and start. So Lester's going to take his first turn. I draw a criminal for my dispatch phase. We have a crime popping up. Again, see where it was.
Oh, this one is E12, Brook City BMV.
So that's pretty
this
close
is crime. You can see here crazy bomber criminals that work for Lita.
So he's going to pop up here really close by. So we're kind of in a nice position where we have the suspect here, we have the case, the bus here. I'm starting right here.
Did you say Did you tell him how the bus spawned randomly?
Yeah, the bus is placed randomly.
Yeah.
He just happened to be starting off next to
We
us.
draw a rec deck, and those have coordinates on them, and the bus just happened to be right next to a BCPD.
All right, so then I'm going to go ahead and do my action. Since we're going to need to have hunches, I'm going to... Well, first I'll do my encounter. So I'm going to go... Or not my encounter, my card step. I'm going to play a card. Encounter, maybe either discard one for us. I think I'll do my tactic here called Give It to Him. Choose a cop to play 1 card and draw 1 card. Then each cop can make... Well, actually, I'm going to save that one until we get some still tactics out. So I'll go ahead and start with... her resistances are pretty high with Reckless and Cautious. Somebody's my normal. So I'll do this. I'm going to go ahead and do my Veteran Sleuth card. So this is an encounter card. The hat icon means it's normal. And it says, encounter 2 dice, then you may either discard 1 stress or exhaust 1 crime. So I'm going to go ahead and encounter Lita, because she's right here. So I got 2 successes on that. So I believe because she's in custody, we reduce her resistances by 1. So I got 2 progress through. So I'll put 2 progress tokens on her. Then it says I can either discard a stress or exhaust a crime. I'll exhaust this crime here. And now I was really hoping to roll some hunches, because we need hunches to do the first clue. So I'm going to go ahead and spend my action this turn to gain a hunch. That way, in case Adam has more luck on his turn, he can do the clue. And then my last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hop in my car, which you can hop in and out of the car during each of your steps. And that was my action. And then I have a move still. I think I will go ahead and move I'll just go 1, 2, 3, and kind of be close to the bus. I don't want to, because the bus has special rules where it cannot change lanes. It's got an arrow pointing here, so it's just going to drive straight. And if I was in the way there, he would hit me and blow up. So we don't want to do that. So I'll stay there. And that is my turn. He's exhausted, so he won't activate. So he just stands up instead. And then it's back over Adam's turn.
All right. So my dispatch phase, I draw a criminal card, and I get explosive threats at the Sagamore Yacht Club. So we got L1 over here. All right. So if I encounter somebody, I can get a hunch. I might just go towards that guy at the B&B over there. All right, so I'm gonna hop in my car. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, and then I'll hop out. I'll hop out for my encounter step, and I will do my basic encounter, which is a method actor. I can encounter 2. I could discard a hunch to change the approach of this encounter, but I don't have any hunches, so I can't do that. All right, I got a success.
Thanks for stopping in,
hunch. So I don't have any hunches, so I can't make that a success, so I'm just going to gain 1 at the end of this encounter. Unfortunately, he has 1 resistance. I only rolled 1 success, so I did not get anything through. But I'm taking this, and my ability says I can either discard a hunch to change the approach of this encounter, or I can gain a hunch. And I guess I will just gain a hunch, since I didn't have any. So I didn't make any progress on that, but I got 2 hunches out of it, so that's good. And then I will play, then I'm on my play card step, which I will hop into my car. Oops. And then I will play What's a Stunt Driver? And this means that when every turn, at the start of my turn, if I'm driving, I get a hunch. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And cop near bus. Oh, I guess I could have done that, huh?
Well, we're going to have to do it next turn.
Okay, so I'll wait. I'll hop aboard next turn. So
Okay, so we've both gone. So
we have to activate my crimes. If Lita is in custody,
she is.
Place 1 influence on Lita's hideout.
Okay.
Otherwise, each cop suffers distress.
All right, so now we're going to do the criminal turn. So Lita's going to activate. Her Operation Anarchy in the BC says, if Lita is in custody, place 1 influence on Lita's hideout. Boom. Then, if there are 5 influence on Lita's hideout, Lita escapes. So right now there's 2. While Lita's on this card, once she's in her hideout, something else will happen. Right now it says, if Lita's not in custody, place 1 influence on each bomb in play. So that doesn't apply just yet, but you can tell it's bad news when she actually escapes. So we want to keep her in custody if we can.
This is a turn reference card. It has the cop turn on the front, all the steps you perform, and then after you go, you flip it over to mark you've gone, and it also has, for reference for all the players, what you do on the criminal turn and the case turn.
All right, so now we have the rec rules card is activating. It says if there are less than 1 P-Recs in play, an accident occurs. So that means you draw one of these cards, you look at the coordinates, and it says C21, C22. So you place a rec up there, which is luckily out of the way. But like we said, you want to make sure you keep the recs under control, because otherwise you have to draw. Because then the other part says if there are 2 P or more recs in play, draw 1 rec card. So you can tell bad events will happen if we have too many recs. It means the city's getting out of control. So the bus is going to activate. The bus moves 2 streets, 1, and like I said, it can't change direction. It can't change lanes. It's going to go straight forward. But it says here on the rule card, it says, on the bus turn, it says during the case turn, a cop in the same street as the bus may change the bus's direction. So since I'm there, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to change the direction, which whenever you change the bus's direction, it talks about in the rule book here, you can change any vehicles in the space with you. So I'm going to change my position also. So now at least it's got a straight shot. And then if the bus is unable to complete its movement, the cops lose. Luckily it did.
So then we draw a case card. And we have push through. Place 1 rec in a street near the bus street. So it's going to have to go somewhere next to it. I would assume behind it, maybe.
Yeah, since I can't turn around right now. And I'm right there to take care of it, so.
So it pays to be close to the bus in this one. All right, and that's the end of the case turn. It goes back to us. So we can decide who wants to go first.
Do you have any hunches? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go.
2 hunches.
I'll go ahead and take care of this. So we have escape artists. So if Lita has no progress on her, she immediately escapes. Luckily, I put some on her. That's why, because I knew this event was in the deck. Otherwise, each cop must either remove 1 progress from Lita or discard 1 hunch. I will remove a progress from her.
I'll discard a hunch. Just to keep some on her.
So then we have on the accident or the agent aboard, What's that one say?
It says a cop near the bus may discard a vehicle they control.
I'll do that.
If they do, the cops as a group must discard 1 P hunches to take control of 1 clue and remove this card from the game.
So since I'm discarding a vehicle I control, it's going to be a wreck. So I need a wreck token. I lose my cop car.
Wreck vehicle.
Yeah,
Sure.
so they were tokens at one point. So now there's a build up there, so I got to take care of that. So I lose my cop car, and I gain control of a token. So these, like I said, these tokens are really useful because they're kind of like what I just did on my turn. You can do that remotely with these tokens. You can just change the bus's direction when you're not there.
This card is removed from the game. We have an agent aboard.
All right, so I'll take my token. I am going to go ahead and do some traffic duty. So you'll notice there's a reference card here next to the Rex. You can always do this no matter where you are. It just represents you handling some traffic stuff wherever you are. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Hopefully I have a cautious approach, which I do.
In this game, there are a lot of things you could do when you're not near something, because that's the magic of like radios, where you can radio into other cops to assist you. So you're radioing in like, you know, patrolmen saying get to this intersection and take care of this traffic issue.
So I'll do let him talk, which is just a cautious encounter, which is that walkie-talkie. So I'm going to do that real quick. So I got 2 successes, and then this says any cop may encounter this target. Progress may only be placed on this target by encountering it. For each progress you would place on this card, instead discard 1 wreck from the board. So I made 2 progress, so I'll discard these 2 wrecks.
Good job,
nearby.
Buster.
And then then I can choose a cop to draw a card. Are your cards good, or should I draw one? This mine suck.
I have pretty good cards.
Okay, I'm gonna draw a card then. Now I still have my that was my card step. I have a movement and I have a action. I think I'm gonna go encounter that crime over there.
So
what's our next
just so you
case,
guys
by the
know,
way?
the next clue we have to do is locate the bomb. That's going to be the next step of this case. And it says a cop in BCPD may discard a lead they control. If they do, the cops as a group must discard 1 P hunches to take control of this clue and remove this card from the game. So the lead is all the way back here in Relic Woods. That's where the active lead is. So there's other ways to get leads, but that's the primary ways. You have to go here and pick up that lead.
Yeah, so Dorian, anytime it says choose a cop, it's any cop. It's not, if it's another cop, it'll say choose one other cop. But if it says choose a cop, it's always whoever. You can be yourself also. So I'm going to go ahead and move.
I think you should stay on top of crimes here, because
Yeah. So normally I would commandeer your vehicle when I move there. But it's kind of risky with wrecks, because if something makes me lose my vehicle, then it's going to cause a wreck. But actually, I think I will, because I'm going to save it. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and I'm in a location now, so I'm going to counter this guy with my action. Actually, I'm going to go 3, so I'm next to Chance here. So I can do a
little helper over here.
I can do my still got it, which is bad because he has 2 resistance against that. Ugh. But I'll try it anyway. Did I discard a hunch? I don't think I did.
For what?
To do that thing. Did you do yours? When I did that clue thing, I forgot to discard my hunch.
Oh.
Unfortunately. So this is kind of unfortunate because he has good resistance against my normal encounters.
Sorry,
We'll
we're
see if
trying
I
to
can
straighten
crit.
out this view here. There we go.
Oh, there we go. We got a crit. Nice. So I got 1 through, and then I also get 2 hunches. Or no, 1 hunch. That's not too bad. And then I can choose a cop to discard a stress. We don't have any, so we're fine. And then that's my turn. So he's going to activate. And it says a cop near a crime may suffer 2 stress. If no cop suffers stress this way, place 1 influence on this card. I will suffer the stress. This represents me kind of like staying on top of where this bomber is, kind of talking him down. If I'm not there to talk him down, he's going to keep increasing the timer and eventually blow up. So I got some stress. I'm still fine. And I draw a card, and it's my turn.
Okay, over to me. First thing I'm going to do is at the start of my turn, if I'm driving, I gain 1 hunch. So I am in my car. I get a hunch because that's my tactic. And then I'm going to draw a criminal card, which is an anarchist bombing. I-19, Binford County Courthouse.
They're all close by, at least. Knock on wood.
Yeah, so you're okay if I ditched my car and come on in here?
It's going to cause a wreck, but it's luckily it's not in the way of the bus
Okay,
right
so I'm going to use my lovely BC PD Cruiser ability, which is a ditch effect. Ditch means you discard it, and it lets you, while driving this vehicle, move your figure to any Brook City location. And I'm going to go Relic Woods right there next to that lead.
On the lead, or? Oh, you got one.
I got my miniature. Go there. And then when you're near a lead on your turn, you can just control the active lead. So I'm getting this lead card. And this has a ditch effect as well. But I want to control this lead because I want to go do this clue. So I'm just going to take control of it.
It's A18.
The next active lead comes out, and it's going to move the active lead up there, which would have been way more convenient for us. You place a wreck for me? Okay, good.
I did.
All right, so now my move step, I have nothing to do down here, so I'm going to go. Actually, I would have just gone here when I teleport. So I'm gonna go one.
Dorian, honestly, there's not very many effects that would do that. I think there might be some case effects, but if you're playing solo and that would come up, you just don't resolve it. So like if that's kind of another player scaling thing, where if you draw on a negative event that says you suffer a stress, then choose one other cop to suffer a stress, you obviously won't choose another cop because there is none. So those are pretty rare, and we made that specifically the case with the cop decks because I don't like that personally when you make exceptions in games where it's like you have to specify, oh, if you're playing solo, this targets you. So we just made it so all the cop decks work they're fully functional solo as they are.
Okay, so
And Dr. Bandage, I'm playing as Lester Nelson, Adam's playing as Chance Mitchell.
Yeah, Chance is in the cop in the velocity expansion. So since I came here on my movement step, I'm going to go 1, and while I'm in the Southland docks, I'm going to commandeer.
So here's Adam's playing as Chance. I'm not sure if this is going to appear very well, and I am Lester Nelson. It's kind of a delay on there, but here's your card. This is on top of your deck.
All right, and then this card says I'm looking at this Sud Skimmer boat here. It says while this card is not controlled by a cop in Southland docks may commandeer this vehicle. When you commandeer it, you put it in your play area and you hop in. So I've moved 1, and I can go 2, 3. As you can see, boats can move pretty quickly around the city.
There's water spaces divided by blue lines. Whenever you move, you can move to any 2 spaces within those blue
water area. And then that was my, I've only done a move step. I'm going to do a card step, which is, I want to get another tactic out. I'm going to do Starstruck as my other tactic.
I could use some tactics.
And then I will do my action to just move again because I'm not where I want to be. I want to get over there. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And that's the end of my turn. I have to activate my crimes. While this, oh yeah, by the way, clues resistances are increased, but luckily there's no clues.
Yeah, there's
no. If Lita's in custody, place one influence on Lita's hideout.
Okay.
And then this other one is a cop near a crime may suffer 2 stress.
I guess I can. I'm half fired, but I'll do it.
Otherwise, this card gets an influence.
How much influence can it get? Let it get 1.
So I'll put 1 on there. Lester is letting this one tick down. And then at the end of my turn, I draw a card, and that's it.
Okay, so Lita's gonna go. So if she's in BCPD, activate. If Lita's in custody, place 1 influence on her hideout. Then if there are 5, there is 1, 2, 3, 4. She's close. And then if Lita's not in custody, which doesn't apply right now, so we're good. And then case turn.
So we're gonna do the rec rules. If there is less than 1p recs, there are not. If there are 2p recs or more, draw. So if we had 4 in here, we'd draw a rec card. Luckily, there's only 2, so we're
keeping it managed right now.
The bus is going to move 2 streets.
So it's going to go 1, 2.
All right, and then that is it for that. Draw a case card. We have collision. Put this card in the case play area. Each time the bus moves into a street with a cop in that street must discard a vehicle they control. And then if this activates, if at least 1 cop does not control a vehicle, the bus moves 1 street, then discard this card. So this will move again if we don't have car, if we're not in a car or a vehicle.
So I should commandeer a vehicle. All right, let me go first. I can probably bust this crime, even though one's gonna pop up here probably. Short fuse. Place 1 influence on a bomb. Let's do it here because I'm gonna try to bust this one. And then that's it for that one. That's a pretty good one to draw. So I will go ahead and play my card step's going to be Seen 'em All, which gives me +1 die during my normal encounters, which is good because I need to bust this one. So I'll do 3 dice for this one. Try to bust this crime. So I got 1, 2. I got enough through because he's already got 1 on him, so he's gone. And actually, after I do that, I get to discard a stress as well. So he's busted. See you later, buddy. And then that was my action on my card, so I have a movement left. I will move 1, and I'm going to commandeer a vehicle when I move into that space. So I'm going to commandeer a Claxton Compensator. Nice. So that's 1, 2, 3. and I can exhaust that to move 2 more. I'm gonna go 1, 2.
While this game plays great solo, I think it excels at 2-player. 2-player is my favorite player count.
All right, so I have no crimes to activate, so I'm good to go.
Feels like a buddy cop movie. All right, did I go first?
I just went.
So oh, because it's a new turn, that's right. So I have to do my... I'm driving, so I get a hunch. At the start of my turn, gain 1 hunch. So I have 3 hunches now. Do you have a hunch so I can do this?
What was our next one? Our next clue?
I have to go take this lead to the BCPD.
Oh, that's the lead. Okay, that's the clue.
Explosive threats at P13, Parasol Pharmaceuticals.
Uh-oh.
So I am swimming in crimes right now. Luckily, I'm in this boat here, so I'm going to...
You could actually just... no, you have to be... Never mind. If you moved 1, you could hop out, but...
Is there a rec placement with this?
No, not in the water. No.
So, luckily, we covered that in the rules, right?
Yep.
So, I'm jumping out of this boat. The boat goes back to the docks and the card is discarded. And wrecks are never placed in non-street spaces unless... So it's in a water space, so it's not going to be a wreck. It's just in the water. So my movement step, I'm going to go 1, 2... Actually, it's getting out is not a movement. So 1, 2... I'm in BCPD. I'm going to discard a lead I control.
If the did you voluntarily ditch it, or did you just leave?
I just left it.
So it doesn't leave play. Like you still control it. So you would still control it.
Okay.
So you would just exit the vehicle.
So it stays, where it is.
But when you forcibly do discard it, it'll go on the nearest one.
So I am in BCPD. I'm going to discard the lead I control, and then the cops as a group must discard 1 P hunches. I could do that both myself if you want.
I only have 1, so.
So I'm going to discard 2 myself because chance is good at getting hunches. Take control of this clue token or remove this card from the game. And now we are on to blocking the roads. That's the next clue here. During their turn, a cop may place 1 wreck in their street. Then if there are wrecks in 2 P streets along the board edge, the cops take control of this clue. So we need to put wrecks on the board edges here.
So yeah, it can be down here. Probably down here is best because up there is a little more dangerous because the bus is up there.
Is it worth me trying to bust Lita or no?
I mean, if you bust her, you can, if she's in the BCPD when you bust her, you discard 1 crime from each cop's crime area, but that was only for 1 because I don't have any.
I don't know if it's worth it.
But she's about to escape.
The bus is okay, right? So I should be going for crimes.
Yeah, crimes are going to be out of control.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and, on my move, I'm going to finish my move, go here, and I'm going to get rid of my boat and get my... If you're in BCPD, for free on your turn, you can commandeer a...
So he has to discard the boat because he can only control 1 vehicle. So when that boat gets discarded, you cannot place wrecks in water, so it's going to go to the nearest street adjacent to it, so it's going to be right there.
Okay, and I get my... Where's my cop car? Blue one. Cop car is back, and I'm going to hop in. When you commandeer, you hop in for free. And so now I can exhaust it. The cop car has an exhaust effect that says, while driving this vehicle, you may move 1 for each crime in your crime area. I have 3 in my crime area, so it pays when you're in a cop car to have lots of crime. I can go 1, 2, I'll just stop there. I'll go 1, 2, and then for my action step, I will hop out, and I'm going to encounter this guy here at the Benford County Courthouse, and I will go ahead and do it recklessly. It is called, yes, this is a real gun. 2 dice. If the target is a crime, discard 1 hunch to exhaust it. I'll see if I want to do that after I encounter it. 2, so 1 would get through. 1 progress. And I could make that a hunch to put another progress on it, but I think I'll save my hunch. So I will get a hunch because I'm not going to use it for that. And then I can discard this hunch to exhaust this crime. What's that?
Any exhaust effects help that?
This lets me exhaust crimes.
Oh.
And this lets me drive more. So that was my card step. Now I can do my action step. I'm going to encounter him again. Actually, maybe I wouldn't have bothered exhausting since I'm going to encounter him again. So I will keep that hunch, and that would have just made it a...
walkie-talkie?
Yeah, I would have made it a success. So 2 more, 1 gets through, that's enough. He has a threshold of 3, so he's busted. And then I have my tactic says... Oh, I don't have that tactic out yet. There is a tactic that I have that lets me get hunches every time I bust a crime. and I'll hop back in my vehicle as part of my action step. And I think that's all I'm going to do. Then we're going to go activate my... If Lita's in custody, place 1 influence on her hideout.
Uh-oh. She's going to escape.
And the same thing if Lita's in
Okay.
influence.
So now she's going to activate. You drew a card. So if Lita's in custody, place 1 influence on Lita's hideout. Then, if there are 5 more influence on Lita's hideout, Lita escapes. When she is... when Lita escapes... where is it? Move her figure to Lita's hideout and discard all influence from that card. When Lita is arrested, she's moved back to the BCPD. So while Lita's on this card, she is considered to be in hiding and cannot be encountered. So right now she can't be encountered. So after a cop busts a crime, they may discard 1 hunch to move Lita from her hideout to random locations. So we can't encounter her until we bust one of her crimes, discard a hunch to question them, and get her in play. So that's her turn. Now we're at the case turn.
Are there less than 1 P?
There's
Rex?
Nope. There's
All right,
3.
and there are not 4, so
Yeah.
we're fine. Bus is moving 2 streets.
And then that
And it
one's an
says,
activate.
if at least 1 cop does not control... Wait, it didn't enter a street with a cop, right?
Nope.
Okay. If at least 1 cop does not control a vehicle, move the bus 1 street. So we both have a vehicle, so it's discarded. So we're basically ready to chase the bus. That's what that means.
So we draw a card, and it says faulty brakes. Put this in the case play area. So when it activates, each cop may suffer 1 stress. You can read the rest there.
If 1 cop does not suffer stress this way, move the bus 1 street. So these are just little events that happen that make it so the bus might move more than you expect. So you want to try to prevent that. All right, that's back to us. So basically, we're trying to do this wreck thing. We need to put wrecks on the. We need to put 4 wrecks along the board edge.
Which is it cost something to place 1, or just says during your turn?
During the turn, a cop may place 1 wreck in their street.
Okay.
So I can go straight ahead to do that one up there.
Grab that lead.
I'll grab the lead while I'm up there.
Do you want to go first, or me to go? Because I don't need crimes. I
I
don't need
have
crimes.
so many crimes. Short fuse. Place 1 influence on a bomb unless the cops as a group discard 1 lead, and we don't have no leads. So we have to put 1
We don't
influence.
have no leads.
We have to put an influence on a bomb.
You have the only bombs, right?
Those are diversions. We have no
so
bombs.
no bombs. Okay, cool.
If no bomb is in play, either place 1 influence on her hideout or draw 1 criminal card.
Just put it on the hideout. She's already hidden anyway. So.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get a hunch for driving, and then I get a hunch for my so many hunches, it's ridiculous.
So
I'm
go
gonna
bust some
go
crimes so we can find Lita.
1, 2, 3, exhaust. So I'm gonna go 1.
Oh, I forgot to
2,
activate her, by the
3,
way.
Exhaust.
By the way, when this happened, place 1 bomb on each card and play. Then if Lita's on this card, each cop suffers a stress. We each suffered a stress on the case, the criminal turn. So while Lita's hiding, we're stressing out, so we gotta find her so we don't get fired.
So I discard a hunch for what's my stunt driver ability. It lets me discard 2 hunches to move a street for each 1 discarded. So I moved 1 street by discarding a hunch. And during my move step, I'm going to hop out. Before I hopped out, I'm going to place a lead. So I'm going to replace a wreck. So where are the wrecks?
Over there,
Right
under
here.
the camera.
So I'm going to place a wreck here. And then I'm going to hop out.
If you have an extra
I'm
action,
going
I
to
would
pick up
encounter.
this lead.
I would encounter this if I were you.
Pick up the active lead, which is suspicious garments. The new active lead is going over to E13, close by, at the City Hall. That's the political pressure. What were you saying?
I said if you have an encounter left or an action left, I would encounter the traffic duty and get rid of some of these wrecks in the middle of the board.
Yeah, I could do that. But, oh yeah, because we're going to be putting a lot more down. So yeah, I'm going to do traffic duty. What's the easiest way to do it? Walkie-talkie?
Yeah.
That's my default, so that's fine. For my action step, I'm going to go ahead and hop in my car for my action step, and then I'm going to do traffic duty. Ooh, 2 hunches.
So we got 1. Which one do you want to discard?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and... How many do we need?
There's 3 that we could discard.
I can do all 3. So I'm discarding 2 hunches to make these successes, so I have 3 successes total.
See you later, Rex.
Then I can gain a hunch, because Chance loves hunches. All right, and I'm going to exhaust my cop car to move 1 for each crime in my crime area. I have 2 crimes, so I can move 2. 1, 2. And then for my card step, I think I'm going to play my other tactic, and then I'll have all my tactics in play. All right, that's my turn.
Okay.
So explosive threats. If Lita's in custody. Otherwise, each cop suffers stress. Each cop suffers a stress.
Oh my
We have two
gosh.
more stress coming at us.
Gotta bust these. Gotta bust a crime, then find her. So
So
that's
these
gonna be messed up.
explosive threats might not be blowing up the city, but they're definitely stressing us out because there's possible bombs somewhere.
So we have an anarchist bombing at Liberty Bank popping up at E6. Lita should not be taken lightly, by the way. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and go try to get this guy, talk this guy down.
Andy, I haven't found Brook City to be overly difficult. I feel like some of the cases, you can definitely change up the difficulty by using things like Rex and the Delta Keys board. But I think by default, I've seen a 50% win rate generally. I think Brady and I win more than normal because we are so familiar with the cases. But there are certain combinations, like in the 6th cycle, Mercy is a really difficult criminal. But yeah, I don't think it's overly difficult.
Yeah, there's allies that we added to kind of help that out if you need it.
Yeah, you can always take an ally with you.
So I'm going to do, give it to him, choose a cop to play a card and draw one card. I'm going to go ahead and play Stakeout, exhaust a crime, so exhaust one of those because they're annoying, and discard a stress. And choose a cop to draw a card. I'm going to draw a card because I have the same card in my hand right now. So then that was my to play a card and draw a card, so I can draw another card. Unless you want to draw a card. Are you missing any you need?
I mean, I can take one.
Go ahead and draw a card. And then we each can resolve a prepared effect that we, on attack that we control. Mine's discard a stress because I need to get rid of that.
You control a vehicle, right? We could each get a hunch, or I could get three. We could each get a hunch, or I could get 3 hunches.
I could use a hunch.
All right, we each get a hunch.
And then I'm going to go ahead and counter this bad boy, which is going to be 3 dice because I am going to do my still got it.
Are you going to place a wreck on your turn?
No, I'm not.
Come on, we need to barricade these roads.
I know, but I got other pressing things to take care of. So I busted him at least, which is good.
Actually,
because when he's busted...
I would have gone this
Oh, wait.
way.
Where's Parasol?
You're in it.
No, you exhaust the other one. I meant to exhaust the other one. So he's busted, though, because I just busted him.
Oh.
So I got all 4 through on that one. And then when I bust him, I can discard a hunch to place Lita in a random location. So place her randomly somewhere.
When you do a random location, you just draw the top card of the lead deck, and you look at the coordinates on that card. It is D14.
So she is going up in the park, right next to you. So now at least she'll stop causing us stress, and we can encounter her, which is nice. And if we encounter her while she's out in the wild, she gets busted again, which is pretty cool. So he's gone. That was my movement and my card, my action. So I'm gonna hop back in my car, and I can exhaust it for 2. 1, 2, and I'll put a wreck down. So at least I got that done.
I'm going to put one up there on my turn next turn.
So a cop near a crime, which is nobody, right?
Right.
So place 1 influence on this card. If this gets 3 influence, it blows up. So by the way Lita wins is if she gets influence. She gets influence every time a bomb blows up, and she needs 3 to win. So if we let 3 bombs blow up, we lose. Now that was your turn, so you've already gone, right? So now I draw a card, and it's the criminal turn. So Lita's gonna go. If Lita's in custody, she is not. So then, if Lita's not in custody, place 1 influence on each bomb. That sucks. Boom.
I don't have any.
So this is gonna blow next turn. Then if Lita's on this card, she's not, so that's good. The case is gonna activate now. So the wreck's gonna trigger.
We don't have 4.
Which we're fine.
We will have 4 though after we block the roads.
Bus is gonna move 2.
2 streets. And then each cop may suffer a stress. If one cop does not suffer stress this way, it's going to move. So it's up to you. Do you want to
I'll suffer stress. I want to keep it under control.
So we're stressing out, keeping the bus driver calm.
And then we have tight corner. Put this card in the case play area. The bus cannot change directions unless each cop suffers a stress in addition to any other costs. If the bus is in an intersection, move the bus 1 street. That's bad news because if it's up here, it's going to be toast because you can't actually move the bus in a 180. You can't.
But it's only going to move 2 streets, so as long as something doesn't move it again,
yeah,
it'll be okay.
So it's back to us now. So you'll see the criminal, as long as you know the decks, decently, the criminal and the case turns don't take much time to activate. You just activate the cards, draw a card, resolve it. Back to us.
Do you want me to go?
I could go. I need to take care of some bombs. So we have another diversion over in Lockwood Art Museum, R18. Cool, that's close. but that's just going to place influence on and give us stress. I need to go after this bombing at Liberty Bank.
If you move a street over, you can put another wreck down. Just make a whole path of wrecks.
I will do that. I have an exhaust effect. So I'll exhaust and I'll go 1, place a wreck, and then 2. So is that all? We
need 4 total.
Okay. And then I could finish that off, I guess, on my turn, but I could do that. I could exhaust 1, 2, place another 1, and encounter this guy. It's a mess
so
down there.
it says if there are wrecks in 2P streets along the board, the cops take control of 1 clue and then remove this card from the game.
Okay, so we have...
So now we have to alert the media. This is the next clue right here, and we have to get the word out. A cop in KZVPP radio, that's an inside joke, may discard a lead they control. If they do, the cops as a group must discard 1P hunches to take control of this card.
What's up, Dustin? Congratulations again, man. His baby was born.
Congrats, dude.
The savage, the little savage.
So we need to go to the radio station and we need to discard a lead. So I actually have a way to get a lead now, I think. Yes, I do. I can get a lead at the start of my turn.
Okay, so that was my exhaust effect. I could encounter this thing, even though I really need to go take care of that. Oh man, this is.
I think we can win very quickly here if I.
Okay, here's a better idea. I'll do this for my card step.
Now you can do traffic duty.
So I'll do this.
Now you can do traffic duty.
I will. So I'm gonna go ahead and exhaust a crime, discard a stress.
Block the roads and then clear the roads.
Yeah, and then choose a cop to draw a card. Do you need a card?
You gave me one last time.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and draw another card. So that was my card ability. And then I'll go ahead and do my encounter to take care of some traffic duty, which has 1 resistance, but I get an extra die, so it should be okay. So I got 3. I can get rid of 2 wrecks. So I'm gonna get rid of 2 of these, or actually, let's do these 2. Put those over there. Then I got 2 hunches actually. Actually, I could get rid of more. No.
Just get rid of the one. Get rid of the one you're next to.
Yeah, I'll get rid of 1. I'll spend a hunch to get rid of 1 more. All right. That was my card step and my counter step. I still have my move left because that was on my exhaust. So I'm gonna go ahead and move 1, 2, 3 because I'm gonna go back up to the north side because we have a ton of crimes going on. Okay, if lead is in custody, place 1 influence on lead's hideout. Otherwise, each cop suffers a stress. Get stressed out.
I need a 5.
5 stress coming up.
I'm half fired. Chance is half fired.
That's my turn.
All right, so start my turn. Everything refreshes. Sorry, the face does not. So I get a hunch for being in a car. I get a hunch for being starstruck, but I can discard 2 of these hunches to get a lead, which I already have a lead. What am I talking about?
Use it, then ditch it. What's it do?
No, I have the lead to go. I have to go to the radio station and spin the lead. Okay, so I have my hunches. I'm going to exhaust my cop car.
Oh, by the way, if we don't,
I need a crime.
I should specify if we don't bust the leader right now, this is gonna blow up and give her one of her.
It's okay. I think we're gonna win before that happens. Before anything bad happens.
Famous last words.
TV studio A24 gets an explosive threat. So as you can see, we're playing a little recklessly. We're not paying enough attention to the criminal. We're just focused really hard on this bus. So we might win quick, or it might go terrible. We'll see. I'm going to discard up to 2 hunches to move 1 street for each. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to exhaust my cop card and just move 2. I'll go 1, 2, and I will hop out. Oh wait, I need to go to the radio station, so I'm going to exhaust I'm going to exhaust a hunch and this stunt driver card to move another space, and then I will hop out in the radio station. And a cop in the radio station may discard a lead they control, which I'm going to do. Then the cops as a group must discard 1P hunches, so I can discard 2 hunches. I'm fine. I got plenty.
I'm gonna save mine.
To remove this card from the game and get the clue token. So now we have the last clue, final clue, is to unload the passengers. This is a cop in Fast Track Bus Depot, which is way down here. It may place 1 progress on. Okay, I think it's fine. Brady had a phone call.
Yeah, if there's a mess up, if there was a mess up there, sorry. There's a stupid phone call. I'm recording on my iPhone, so.
All right, a cop that's driving near the bus may discard their vehicle to.
It did it again. It was gonna call. Okay, it says we're live. So sorry for the interruption there.
Why are we getting phone calls?
Because it's those stupid bot dials.
All right, so basically we need to go to the bus depot to put a progress on this card, and then a cop driving near the bus can discard the progress. to flip this card to flip the bus side to its evacuated side, and that tells us how we can win. So the last step is unloading the passengers. I've done my.
Well, I guess I should stay down here because luckily I'm on the south side already.
Now I haven't done any steps yet because I just have exhausting abilities to move here. So I still have my move, my action, and my card. I think for my card step, I'm
Why
going
don't
to
you
counter.
get your cop car and go bust Lita?
I'm going to get rid of this explosive threat here at the TV studio. So this is a hat encounter. He has 0 hat resistance, so I'm going to go ahead and play this. Stick to the script card. Encounter. If the encounter is not successful, I can discard a hunch to place 2 progress on the target. So I'm probably going to bust this guy. Nice, I got a crit. Alright, so I got 3 progress. 3 is getting through. He has 4 thresholds, so he's not busted yet. If the encounter is not... What's that? Oh, let's see his progress. Then I gain a hunch. So he is 1 away. I will just do my action to finish off, I think.
Yeah, scam likely. That's what it should say.
Alright, he is busted, and I get a hunch, and I get another hunch for busting a crime. This guy is gone. And this guy's bust effect is gain 1 hunch. Oh my goodness. Chance, you are way too good at getting hunches. That's gone. He's gone. And my move step will be... Do you think I should go toward leader or the bus? Hop in my car. I'll go 1, 2, 3. I'm ready to turn the bus around.
All right, so that's everyone. You're all done all your crimes.
This stands up, and now I'm done.
All right, so Lita's non-custody. If
I
Lita
prefer that tactic.
place 1 influence on each bomb card in play, so there's only 1, right? But it's gonna blow up, so she gains an influence. So she needs 3 of those to win. She's
I
one out
think
of
we'll be
3
okay.
there. So that was her turn, and then Case turn. So first things first is the Rex. We have less than 2p.
Uh-oh, so
Place 1.
play an accident
So
occurs.
it's gonna go G9, G10, which is up here. Oh god, that's a horrible spot to be.
The bus is moving 2 streets. Then if the bus is in an intersection, it would move again. Luckily it's not. This card is discarded. And then a new one comes out. Scotty, I don't do that. Same thing. If the bus is in an intersection, it activates.
I just realized I read that wrong. When it gets its 4th, it only has 3 right now, so I have a chance still.
Oh yeah, we're fine. Alright, that's the case turn. Done. So back to us again.
Did you draw a case card?
I just did. It's the same thing. It came, another tight corner came up.
Probably why I didn't notice. Alright, so I should go first, right, and go to the bus station. Is he gonna take care of this?
Be good.
So anarchist bombing is gonna appear at Reeves International Airport, 8:31. That's a bad place.
I think we should just ignore Lita and just focus on the bus now.
Well, these things are gonna stress me out. So I am gonna take care of him at least because I'm right there. I might as well try. So I'm gonna go ahead and encounter him, and he is at the art exhibit. So he has. I'll do my normal encounter, my action.
Andy, the Aftershock Pledge Manager is supposed to be open until March.
Nice.
Until March, I think it was, but it's very possible that we can extend it. It's just we have a cutoff because we need to make sure we end the Pledge Manager so we have the final numbers to send to the factory for printing. So we can only keep it open for so long, and we're making good progress on the files. So we're in really good shape on the files. We should be sending those files to the printer like in the next few weeks, in the next couple weeks maybe. So we'll see what the demand is. Blacklist is usually pretty open to pleasing backers, so we'll see how it plays out. But we definitely want to hit that deadline to print the final numbers so we can get the games out to people as soon as possible.
Okay, what do I do here?
You need to, are you in the bus depot?
Yeah.
Just place progress.
There.
So I need to use that progress on my turn.
Unfortunately, it's all I can do on my turn is pretty much get over there. I played a card.
So he went to the bus depot and he basically commandeered another bus so we can unload these passengers.
So no cops on near crimes. So this blows up. She gets a thing. This goes away. This one gets an influence also.
I think if she only blew up 1 building, I think it's okay.
Tell that to the chief, buddy.
Sorry, Tim. We'll try to slack a little bit more, but now that Brady and I are full time, we find that we are getting stuff done so fast. All right, my turn. I need a crime card.
You get a explosive threat, Q23.
So we have crimes everywhere, but we are focused on this case. Dead set on this case. So I'm driving, I get a hunch, I get another hunch, and I'm going to discard both those to get a lead. I have an abandoned car.
Is there an active lead? Oh, it's there.
Yeah. So I need to a cop driving in near the bus. So I'm going to exhaust this to move 2. I'm going to skid out here and then back up and get next to the bus as an exhaust effect. And I can discard a vehicle. So I'm going to discard this to place a wreck where I'm at. This goes away. That goes over here. And I pop out. Let's just say I pop out here.
No, you don't actually, because it says just flip it, right?
What's that?
The effect of that is when you discard your card, you gain control and you're driving.
Oh yeah, I forgot. If you do flip the bus to its evacuated side and commandeer it. That's right. I need to read the whole card before I make that. So I am now. Chances on the bus. Remove this card from the game. So now this bus evacuated side says, while driving this vehicle, you must move 3 streets during your move step. Once during your turn while driving this vehicle, you may suffer 1 stress to change its direction. You cannot exit this vehicle. This vehicle can enter water spaces or water areas. So, and then the case says if the bus enters a water area while the cop is driving it, the cops win. So if I drive this thing into the water, we're going to win the game. So, on my move step, I haven't moved yet. So I'm going to go ahead and move. I'm going to move 1. I'm going to suffer a stress.
Actually, no, don't suffer a stress. Just discard a clue token. That changes the direction. Or is that only the front side?
It's on.
Okay, sure. No, there's a thing that says anytime the cops may discard 1 clue token as they control to move the bus up 3 streets and change its direction. So we have extra clues we haven't used. So
okay, well,
luckily
either way, I had enough stress to do it either way. So I'm gonna turn the bus this way. So that's 1, 2, 3. So
and then these can move the bus 3 spaces, or you can move on your move space.
So I'm gonna discard my action step. I'm gonna move 3 spaces on my action step. So I'm gonna move 1, jump the bus into the water. Bam, we won. That's the cops win the game. So that was velocity.
Honestly, the bus starting there was actually beneficial. I thought it'd be pretty tight.
We had some, and also Chance is really good on this with all his hunches. And if you're playing with Axel, who can get leads real easily, he's good too. But we got pretty lucky on some of the locations of these things. Things kind of fell into place. But again, Chance was half stressed. I would have been fired.
I was half stressed. Yeah.
So
and my guy's like good at getting rid of stress, and I was still stressing out.
So yeah, that's one of the more engaging cases. Forces you to move around and stuff like that.
It can probably be ranked up there as the fastest playing case because you kind of control the pace as long as you are on top of all the wrecks and everything. Some of the other cases you have to actually spread out and like do X amount of progress on clues. But this one's probably one of the faster ones to either win or lose.
But I will say the wreck deck is a great thing to add to any case to up the difficulty and complexity of it because it's something else you have to keep an eye on. It's also fun though. It's fun to have to actually clear the roads, stuff like that.
And you can kind of see, as far as like someone was asking about setup, like you can kind of see by tearing down how the setup would go because it's pretty similar. You just arrange these cards, you know, in the order you got them out, and make sure you keep give me those clues over there.
Yeah, clues are part of the case deck.
Where's the bus? Give me the bus.
5,
Nice.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Start with 1.
And if you added the Delta
Case
keys,
deck.
if you had the Delta keys board to the velocity case, ooh,
Yeah, that'd be
kind of crazy.
Got the rec deck. Boom,
Cop
boom.
deck's done. Cop miniature.
There's leaders, crimes, got all these vehicles. Get them out of the way. The wrecks.
This is an important part of game design for us is setup and tear down. So we like to just get a game out and start playing it and
There's
tear it
the
down.
leads. So now that we got a playthrough, if anyone has any questions regarding this game or any upcoming products, we're happy to answer them while we're here because we usually do a live.
Yeah, I can
video.
adjust this camera to be a little more user friendly for.
All right, what do we got here? The velocity is a fast case, yeah. So what do we have here? What's
Is that a good view?
the over/under on early delivery for aftershock and to know how fast we should find a fallout shelter. Aftershock's in a good place right now. We're waiting for everything to settle down after the Chinese New Year, but it's looking good.
I apologize for this jerky camera. I'm trying to adjust the tripod to a comfortable position.
Market for Alter Quest, is it going to be mini heavy, or can we expect perhaps a lower price point for all?
It's going to be mini. It's a mini heavy game. It's going to be. We have so many big box games planned with Blacklist, but again, we want to start doing some smaller box games, maybe some digital versions of our games, just for people who don't want to be buying these big box games. But it's kind of our specialty nowadays, and we like them, so it's hard to not do things that excite us.
Yeah, it's fun to design big toys, big boxes of toys for people to play.
Yeah, don't worry, Kareem. We just finished up. How long was that? It was a pretty quick game, wasn't it?
It should be.
That was about an hour. It's pretty good. And we were also describing things, so it could have gone quicker if we were playing, just for fun.
But we don't aim for quick playing games. I mean, we like to keep games, reasonably paced, but.
Well, also, the video will be available later on Blacklist. It's on Blacklist Facebook page, and I'm pretty sure YouTube will just archive it so anybody can watch it later.
They posted after it's been on.
All right. Do you guys know the names? We do not know the names of the boats. At least I don't. I'll have to check with Blacklist to see if they have that information. But they're supposed to get some tracking information later in a couple weeks or something, just to get some final estimates on when they'll show up. New Street Master would like to know what I should get in the Pledge Manager. I would say as much as you want.
New Aftershock?
Yeah, so that's what you're getting, the core bundle and the Aftershock. That's a lot of content. You might want a dice pack. I would say one dice pack is pretty useful because exploding dice are always hard to predict how much you'll need to roll. Plus, it's nice to just have extra. And if you want to have fast setup, you might want a few extra packs of the ring bases. I think someone said that if you want to have everything pre-based, I think it was 11 sets, but I have to double check the final numbers on that. But I think it was 11.
I have so much trouble remembering that kind of stuff.
When will Alter Quest at Kickstarter? What quarter? We're hoping spring sometime, spring, summer, early. I would hope spring, but it's all depending on how fast we can get the demo kits ready and out to media people to cover the game, because we want to promote it very well and have a really big and fun Kickstarter. And as far as content goes, we'll see.
This is for that.
We definitely have lots of ideas for content, but we also, with Alter Quest, we kind of want to approach it from a standpoint of we want to start a new game line that we can support for years instead of, like for Street Masters, we put out like 5 years worth of content in one Kickstarter, and we kind of want to scale it back a little bit and leave more room for growth for Alter Quest.
Yeah, because we took we weren't able to do some of the aesthetic upgrades we want to do with Street Masters, like just kind of little bonus things, which we want to do for Alter Quest, and that was in favor of just adding a ton more content. And it sounds like a negative connotation because it kind of bloats it, but I mean, lots of people want that content right away. It's appealing, but we kind of want to take a different approach with that with Alter Quest and make it so we can, upgrade the out of the box experience as much as possible and have a reasonable amount of content where like we could do another Kickstarter the next year for like a cool deluxe expansion or something. So it kind of just pace it out a little more.
We actually, Kareem, if you watch the video after it goes up to YouTube, if you scoot back, you'll see that I was actually playing as Chance, that cop, so you can see him in action. As far as when the cards are charged, I'm not sure if Scotty, if you're on here, if you can answer this, forget if you know, but when does the Pledge Manager charge cards? I thought it was in the update, but I have to double check. You want the bus in here too?
Yeah, the bus goes in with them. Because you always have to use the Rex when you're playing the velocity case, so keep together.
There you go. 8 red dice. So that's basically the core game plus a dice pack. So that's a good number to have by just bare minimum. If you're playing a lot of 4-player games, you might want more dice just so people have access to dice if you don't want to pass them around the table. But that's not necessary. It's just a benefit. We're just spoiled because we got like a bunch of dice from the factory, so we have tons of fighter dice in our Street Masters games. Blue dice in Brook City. Is that, I'm assuming you're talking about? That would be standard. It's like Street Masters, like 2. Brook City comes with, is it 4 dice in the core set or is it 6? I think there's 6 dice in the core set. Let me double check the rules because again we get mixed up with our stuff.
But 6 dice.
Yeah, since there's only one type of dice in Brook City, you get 6 of them, and that you should be good with that. Like if you want to get an extra pack for a bigger player count, it'd come in handy. But I think 6 is a pretty good number. Will you ever do a heavy metal themed board game?
Yes.
I bet.
But not like corny like heavy metal. It's more like if you imagine like the heavy metal aesthetics of like the 1980s, you know, like Megadeth, Metallica, like bullet belts and big white high tops, like that kind of aesthetics, but not necessarily a game about heavy metal. It'd be more just like.
But yeah,
it's a different themed game where.
I bet if there wasn't any kind of contract issues, I'm sure Eric would love that. We talk to Eric all the time about heavy metal, so he's every time we see him. Brady and I want to talk to him about game stuff, but he always ends up wanting to talk about music. Because Brady and I were in heavy metal bands for years, so we have a lot in common when it comes to music with Eric. Dr. Bandage asks if there's nothing analogous with loot cards to boost your rolls. There is. The lead cards are kind of like the loot card equivalent in Brook City. They give you things you can dish the card for bonuses, but they also give you ways to interact with the case on certain cases you might need. Like if you were watching this case, you saw that we need to lead cards to further the clues. What are the chances of Aftershock arriving sooner than expected? Blacklist always hates for me to comment on stuff like that, but I will say that development has gone by much faster than we thought or planned for, so we're in a pretty good position to get this one out as quick as possible. If you can't get Aftershock until March, am I able to order it, for instance, at the end of the month, a year, or next year? If you're talking about the Aftershock expansion, or the Aftershock expansion might not ever be released in the same format as it is the Kickstarter, the big box. You know, we might. We're not sure about. I mean, the content will be available, but we're not sure the format in which those will be released. Especially the Aftershock stretch goals. Those are a lot of product expansion ideas bundled together in a stretch goal box, and in the future, those might be released as individual expansions.
Yeah, that's the benefit of back on Kickstarter is you have like kind of an early shot at some of this stuff. But if we were to re-release it, it would be in different formats. Like the Aftershock box itself would be like a standard expansion box size with the same content essentially, but.
Is there a possibility for you to use your modular deck system for FFG? Nothing's out of the question. For Alter Quest, as you're going to have monster sets, will there be an alternate deck for different types? So new cards will say fire themed. So for Alter Quest, the way we're doing this is we're going to have threat decks and villain decks, and those are interchangeable. So we're going to have we'll use an example. We'll be teasing soon the Frox, which are like these frogmen people monsters. They have a Frox threat deck, and there's this big, huge Frox guy that name's Bulks, correct? Bulks. He's a villain, and it makes sense for him to be leading a group of Frox, but he just doesn't. He's not tied to it. You can bring Bulks in with like an undead threat type, where he's leading a bunch of undead to do some nefarious thing. So they're interchangeable, so you can have much more different themes of like who's leading what army. But there's also lurkers. A lurker deck is a separate deck of all types of monsters that appear in the game. So, for example, Frox will have lurker cards that go in the lurker deck. So if you're playing a different game, there's still a chance for Frox to show up randomly in the shadows. Lurkers are just little wandering monsters that live in the dungeon that defend themselves and fight intruders. So we thought about a lot of ways to keep it modular and interesting, but also keeping quests like a theme. Like, you know, you're going into this dungeon that these Frox have overrun. So you're fighting a lot of Frox, but there's also other random monsters that might pop up. How about voting on how much better will Alter Quest do than Street Masters? I have a feeling Alter Quest will do way better than Street Masters from the theme alone. I know that fantasy is something a lot of people can relate to and a lot of people like. I'm guilty of that as well. I will see a fantasy game and I'll instantly want to look at it because I like fantasy. So I have a feeling it'll do well on Kickstarter. How well, I'm not sure, but I have my fingers crossed that it's going to do really, really well. We'll see, though. Excuse me. This is probably the game that we've done that I'm most excited about. It's obviously our most recent design, so I can say it's one of our best designs because we just have so much experience to build off of, and we've learned a lot, especially with the modular deck system, how to improve it, streamline it, make it work different ways, and improve the modularity in general. Oh my gosh. Number of quests. Quests are going to be interesting in Alter Quest, mainly because they're not like scenarios, they're just a piece of a puzzle of what a scenario is. Because you have you got your hero decks, you have the threat deck and the villain deck, and then you have the quest deck. And the quest deck is kind of like your objective. So it's a type. It could be cleansing an altar, and that altar can change in every single version of that quest. It could be rescuing a prisoner, which could also be an ally that's a random ally. It could be defeating a known associate of the villain who's a rival, and it could be a random rival. It's different every time. So there are these types of quests that are kind of like, they're more of types of quests, so it can be whatever element you're using randomly can change how that quest feels and how it functions. So I'm hoping that we're gonna have like at least 6 different types of quests in the core box. That's the goal. But again, we haven't announced that yet, so we can't say for sure.
As far as sci-fi games, I mean, we always have ideas.
I always push for one. I feel like I'm the lone sci-fi fan in the team calls we have, because there's so many games we want to do, and I've been pushing for like a sci-fi themed spaceship. You're on a ship doing different, have different roles, different machine, different like stations you're operating. I think it'd be really fun. There's an old game called Battle Stations that kind of, I would like to do something along those lines someday. If we did that, I would want it to be more of a mission-based game. While everybody wants campaign and everything, it seems like, I definitely want to do more games that are like Brook City, where it's a very fulfilling individual experience and you can play all these different combinations of cases and things like that without having to worry about the same play group, scheduling times, like all that stuff. So we like to have a little bit of both.
For these next two questions, the first one, thanks for Stream Masters. You're welcome. Thanks for checking it out.
Yes,
Thanks for asking about it. The how's playtesting going for Aftershock? It's wrapped up. Went really well. We had a lot of external testers that were heavily involved, so got a lot of outside opinions, and I think the product's going to really show that. So it was a great experience. Are there any things used in Gloomhaven you would like to steal for Alter Quest? Not at all. not really. I mean, I think there's like a vague thing where it's like you have your own character quote unquote decks, like in Gloomhaven you have like these hand of cards, like hand management. It's different for Alter Quest. It's just fixed decks, kind of like Street Masters and Brook City. So it's I don't know if that's something you would consider similar, but that's probably the closest thing besides it being fantasy. But it's not going to be a every scenario is just go beat all the bad guys type thing, or there's gonna be a lot more diversity in the quests, I think. And this isn't disparaging against Gloomhaven, because Gloomhaven is a fantastic game, obviously, and we are buddies with Isaac. We love his work.
Yeah, I have it up back there. I haven't played it in a while, but
it's just something we personally wouldn't design. So I mean, everyone has their own design aesthetics and everything. So Isaac did a fantastic job. It's a really killer system. We just won't be doing anything that similar to it because we love dice, and Isaac hates dice.
Yes, I feel like people that hate dice might not experiment more with ways to do dice the way we do dice, where dice always do something. I don't like dice that just determine what you do randomly all the time, but I do like rolling dice, and I especially love exploding dice. People might have noticed that from our games. So more than likely you'll see dice in our games. It's not because we like randomness. There's things you can do with dice that make it more deterministic, and you can modify your dice rolls or make it so dice always do something interesting. It's also just fun to roll dice. So.
Yeah, and one other thing too, like Gloomhaven has
real quick, Dr. Bandage. I might have misspoke, but in Brook City, the most common encounter is 2 dice. You can usually boost it different ways, but 2 dice is the standard. So.
Yeah, another thing in Gloomhaven that I don't think it's utilized as much as at least I've seen when I've played the game. Is there's like a magic system. There's like the elements system, which kind of fluctuates on the board. There's like a
We went through games where we didn't even touch it.
yeah,
Like, it just-
but the alter dice in Alter Quest are supposed to be kind of a similar idea, but they're used much more frequently. So they're always fluctuating. You're always rolling them to trigger new abilities. The enemy's rolling them to trigger their abilities. So it's a much more fluid system, but it is it's something that you might say is similar to that aspect of Gloomhaven. Any changes in Aftershock after playtesting that you were surprised didn't work had changed? Maybe something that you wish you could still have been in the game but was too strong. Most of the general ideas were the same. They would be just tweaks here and there for like balancing issues. We just want to make sure all the fighters were on a similar power level. There were some more powerful fighters, but they're usually reserved for the redemption packs where you're playing as the bosses. But for the most part, everything. There were some drastic changes to the stages and stuff, but the general feel is still there. It's just the effects were streamlined to be more simple and not less complex, less upkeep and stuff like that. But altogether, yeah, it mostly, I think we got everything we wanted in there. Is there any other characters or fighter decks you would have wanted on Aftershock? Yeah, we always have plenty of ideas for
Well, I
fighters.
think we unlocked most of what we wanted to unlock for Aftershock.
Not my $1 million
Yeah,
special boy,
that-
but maybe someday. I think we talked about that one, the food fight one. I think we already spoiled it, but that was what I was hoping to get in there. Can I keep $1 pledge until March, then fill out the PM for Aftershock? I don't know.
I'm
specifically.
pretty sure right now they said the close date was March 12th, so if it's before that, you're fine. Again, that might move, like that might be pushed out further depending on how soon we need to finalize things with the factory, because that's all it is. We're not like trying to make it so people can't buy what they want to buy, but we have to have a cutoff for the factory because they need final numbers to produce the games, and we also don't want to hold it up too long to delay the game. We want the games out to backers as soon as possible. So it's a delicate balance between giving people enough time to get what they want out of the pledge manager, but also making sure that we get the games to you as soon as possible. So.
Favorite Street Masters stage and favorite Aftershock stage. Street Masters, I think, from the core game, I think my favorite stage is Sudden Death. I seem to always lean on that one. It's a good starter one. Plus, it just even though I've played it hundreds of times, I still enjoy it. Favorite Aftershock in the actual Aftershock box. I would say my favorite stage is probably Meltdown, but I think as the whole Kickstarter. I think my favorite stage out of all the stretch goals and everything was A State of Decay, which was the one from Celine in the Davenport Manor. That one, well, actually, it's kind of a tie because A State of Decay and Real Terror were both my favorite ones to design, and I think the themes are very unique and they felt really thematic for what the mechanics were. So those two are probably my favorites.
I like Triage.
Triage was cool. Yeah,
As far as favorite stages, okay.
Yeah, for Aftershock.
Yeah, I like Triage. Triage was cool. I thought I was trying to take a stab at some very simple concepts for stages in Aftershock. So Derailed, and what was the other one? Was that the?
There was Meltdown, Derailed, Bogged Down. And
I mix all the stages up because they have all these stretch goals, and then there's only so many that are in certain products. But yeah, I think it was Derailed, which is a really pretty simple stage, but some trains can come by and hit people on the tracks, so it's kind of fun. All right, any more questions or?
I'm late to the gym.
I think that starting next week, if we get a handle on all this Aftershock stuff, we might be doing more regular teases for Alter Quest, so get some more information out there. Hey, Derek.
Thanks, Derek. Yeah, glad you enjoyed it. And if you're asking me, I love playing Brook City 2-player. I love it solo. It plays fantastic solo, so it's a great experience solo, but I think if I had to choose, I'd play it probably 2-player. Is it important for you to teach people outside the USA?
Reach people.
Oh, reach people. Sorry.
It is, but it's also difficult because Blacklist is such a small company right now. I will say we have some exciting things in store for Street Masters, especially in ways to get it to more people into wider distribution. That's kind of one thing we're working on, and hopefully that will trickle into our other. If it does well, it might trickle into our other game lines as well and get more things out into more markets, basically. Because right now we are primarily a Kickstarter-based company. We do games on Kickstarter, and then we send them backers, and then we try to sell them afterwards. But we're trying to increase our inventory and increase our reach of where we can get our games. But it is difficult. It's a challenge, especially with shipping costs through Kickstarter. It gets. I feel bad for backers that have to pay so much for shipping because of where they live. We're going to continue to try to find solutions for that problem.
Vince, almost none of the stages initially work out. Like usually, like I only ever approach laying a deck out and printing it off to playtest to just find out like what one or two things work with it. It's just a constantly fluctuating thing. Sometimes the general ideas work. It's like, okay, this works good, but it can be, it can be tweaked to do this so it can simplify things. You cut out certain thematic things that are like kind of superfluous to the design because you can kind of abstract it through easier mechanics. So they always fluctuate. Typically I think most of the state now that we're designing Street Masters so much, the content's been so developed. When we started Aftershock, almost all the stages worked upon design because we had that experience from Street Masters 1. When it was the new system, when we designed a fresh system, those stages are just a mess until the final development. So it's kind of just a trial and error thing, like most stuff. If you had to make a cheesy used car salesman commercial for Brook City, how would it go?
Well, we kind of did that with the Brook City real quick just recently, right?
That wasn't cheesy. That was great. That was fantastic.
Well, cheesy as in like 80s music and stuff like that. So
yeah, I would pretty much just do the Crossfire commercial, but like replace the
Brook City. You'll be driving on streets.
Oh, thanks, Derek. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, Spanish translations would be great.
Yeah, we've had people volunteer to do translations for Street Masters for different languages. And a lot of them are volunteering, so it's not like we can, rush things along. It's people have free time to do it. So, a lot of the translations are taking longer than people would like, but we just can't do much about that right now. And again, that's something that we hope to do better in the future. Is if we have more of a wider reach in the world market, we can start doing more languages and stuff easier.
KFC has enlisted RoboCop as the recurrent Snapchat.
Do you think there would be this much content for Street Masters in such a short time, but the popularity catch you off guard? I think for us, it was more of how much Blacklist wanted to put out. They had a lot. They wanted to get a lot out as quick as possible, especially being a new company. They wanted to have a lot of material for their first game to give people and make them know that they're passionate about games and they want to expand their games.
Yeah, I think it was an effort to make as big a splash as possible, and like just the sheer modularity of the game allows for that much content. So
I will say for Aftershock, we definitely didn't plan that much content originally. Originally, it was going to be just a reprint with one box, and that's it. And then all of a sudden, we're like, oh, let's do all these stretch goals, and it just started doing so well that we just kept unlocking stuff, and it kind of went. Luckily, we stayed on top of development wise, but it could have buried us in content work for a year if we didn't.
So Dorian's question, I could go on for a while for this for your biggest pet peeves when it comes to gaming in general. They kind of go hand in hand, but this comes up a lot recently because I've been playing Resident Evil 2 with my daughter because she watches me play the Resident Evil video games, which I know I probably shouldn't let her see that gory stuff, but she just loves it. She only plays it when or watches it when I'm around. But she's been playing the Resident Evil 2 board game with me, and she loves it. She always wants to play, and she's like 7, so it's kind of like something above her age range, but she's always been kind of advanced with gaming. So it's great. It's there's things about the game I don't love as a designer, but because I love the franchise so much, it just captures enough of the video game. But what bugs me the most, and what comes out a lot with this game, is like scenario guides. I know it's kind of necessary for sometimes, especially campaign games, to have like a scenario booklet with a map set up and it has special rules. But I just hate trying to play like very minor differences, like because a scenario will have like a special rule here and there, and the map layout's different. But in reality, that map layout is not that. It doesn't need to be that different. You can get the same experience if you're walking in the same paths essentially.
We're actually trying to prove this with Ultra Quest. We're doing the old school Hero Quest style board where it's just a board of a dungeon and it's the same every time. But the way you play on it's different, and what you see of that dungeon every time is different. But that board is so easy to set up, and it's so central to the game. I feel like it might be a challenge for some people to grasp, like the replayability and the diversity of the game, but we feel strongly that it's the best way to go for dungeon crawl.
And I think it's worse with Resident Evil 2 because those tiles are just like black because they just there's too many shadows and the art can't even pop out of it. So it's just they're black tiles. They're just different shapes, but like it's just this huge tedious setup and a huge teardown. And I just don't think that the payoff is there because you can have, I think you can get the same experience, if not a better experience, by streamlining that process. So I think like my pet peeve is just like really elaborate setups and teardowns, especially with dungeon crawl type games or campaign games where I just don't think it's necessary. I think there's ways around it. You can simplify that and kind of make it a game in itself. Like having setup and teardown be less of a like tedium and more of like a you're just choosing these things to put together to make a cool experience.
Who is your favorite fighter in Aftershock? In Aftershock expansion, I would say Veda is my favorite to use. She's what?
Lita.
No, I said Veda.
I know. I said for me it's Lita.
But it's Veda though. Veda's better.
Veda's my favorite too.
Yeah, Veda's a cool support fighter.
I think out of all the fighters though, like it's hard to choose because there's so many in the whole line. But I think in Redemption 2, I think Mac is probably up there. I also really love the Dawn because the Dawn has his kind of built-in ally with Genesis, so that's a pretty cool fighter deck. There's a lot of cool unique ones, so it's hard to pick just one. I think like in the whole cycle altogether, out of all the Street Masters fighters, I'd have to say Reese because he's designed just to be my play style. But
any plans for a second Brook City? We've discussed that. We're really curious to see how it's received when it gets out there, how people like it. If it's received as well as Street Masters, I have a feeling we'll need to do another Kickstarter to reprint it and also do some kind of expansion stuff. And I feel like we've been talking about doing more of like a case book, like a more narrative cases using the same components. But we're probably always going to use the Brook City board. Like
it's going to be a Brook City. We just want to add things that might be like I would like to make it so we have an expansion that tells a narrative case where you play several sessions, and every session's like a day of that case, and you're just trying to do different things. So there's a lot of ways we can, because the system is solid, but we can just kind of add things around the framework and make it really unique and thematic. So we have ideas for it, but it's right now we're waiting to see what people think about it when they get it, see how it goes over and everything.
Yeah, Mitch, I agree with you. We started a Gloomhaven campaign, and I think after about 4 or 5 quests we did, kind of lost interest. It was just so much work to play, and I have this opinion where, like for example, I'll use an example. Shadows of Brimstone was a recent dungeon crawl that I played for a while, and I really wanted to like it because it reminded me of my like old school Warhammer Quest, and I liked the Wild West setting. It was really cool. Now I don't think they should have done the miniatures they did. They should have just done standard board game miniatures, but I won't get into that. But I didn't get anything in my play experience by changing out the map tiles and digging out some specific tile for the room that I'm in. It doesn't do much for me. It doesn't immerse me more into the game because of the shape of the room or like a few different pieces of art. So like that doesn't do much for me. And I loved when I was a kid playing Hero Quest because I just whipped the board out and then we start playing. And what you put into the room kind of changed it. So that's kind of what we're doing with Alter Quest. We have these set rooms, but we're going to do these features. We're calling them like furniture, scenery, something like that you put in the room to kind of give the room a feel, and the shape of the room. Obviously, you'll see the whole board every game, but what room you go into is you only go to so many rooms per quest. So like there's 16 rooms in the board. You'll only use 8 of them per quest. So it'll feel different every time, even though it's the same board.
Yeah, zombie something like that roughly. I mean, it's not necessarily it might not be like legacy, but it had those type of elements like where I want like sealed envelopes where you uncover certain things and add to the game or add new content to the game. So like you might uncover some what corrupt criminal who you didn't expect, and all of a sudden now you open this box and now it's a new criminal deck you can add to the game, stuff like that.
Things that basically like there'd be like a narrative path you could take. You could replay it, but when you do, it would lead to a new case or a new criminal deck that might be sealed away.
It's all a matter of how things go. I mean, if it's a runaway hit, obviously we'll be acting on it quickly, but we'll see how it goes over. Yeah, it would be. It wouldn't be the same as the Street Master stories for sure.
It feels awesome doing games full time. We haven't done it since back in our days when we worked at Fantasy Flight Games, but that was like on staff, kind of just doing what you're assigned. This is a new publisher, kind of lets us do what we want to do. So it's got a lot more creative freedom. We have the freedom to work from home. We are way more productive.
It's weird because it has that feeling where it's like it feels like it hasn't actually hit yet, just because ever since we transitioned, it's just been been nonstop working on projects. So it's like it's kind of like how it was before, but we're not taking breaks to do like our day jobs. So it's almost like we're just committing more time to games, which is great. But you kind of like feels like you never really stopped or you never changed what you were doing. So
I mean, we
it's just more work.
we put together the Alter Quest demo kit like in this matter of a week. Like I spent all day writing the rulebook yesterday, and it just came together so fast because we devote our whole time to it. We didn't have to think about, oh, we have a conference call for our day job, so we can't get started on anything because we have to get ready for this conference call or I have this other assignment due. It's just all games all the time, so we can work late at night, whatever. It's a great setup, and I'm really excited to see how the rest of this year goes.
So as far as the depth of decision making in Gloomhaven, I don't want to get in a big critique about Gloomhaven because, like I said, it's something that's different. Like from a design standpoint, I always look at games from like how I play them and how I design them, but they kind of like mesh sometimes because we're designers. We just look at things differently when we play them. I think one of the reasons we don't play it a lot is, besides the setup and teardown, is as you mentioned, the depth of decision making. I don't feel like there's as much depth there because like the decisions you're making about like pairing up these cards, it feels like an artificial way to kind of just like prolong your turn. Is like I feel like it's just kind of there's a puzzle aspect to it, but I just don't feel like it's enough payoff to take that time to make those decisions about like, oh, which orders are these going to go in. So
I personally feel like I'm delaying wearing my character out. Yeah, I don't like that feeling. I don't like that if I would do something really cool, it's leading closer to my death. I mean, I kind of like my hero in my dungeon crawls to feel heroic.
Yeah, there's an aspect of like in like Street Masters or Alter Quest where you feel like you're kind of like building yourself up as you go, but in Gloomhaven it feels like you're building yourself down. like you're starting off and you have all these options and those are diminishing as you go, and it's like a lot of upfront information, and it feels like it does have that reverse effect where it's almost like a survival game in a way, but it's supposed to feel like kind of heroic dungeon crawl. So I think there's that aspect that kind of just doesn't connect. And again, it's not like a big criticism of the game because the game is obviously a big hit. People love it, which is great. We have no reason why people shouldn't love it. It's just from our own personal aesthetics, we have our own opinions of how things should feel in certain styles of games, and that's just what we would have done differently. But yeah, so there is decision making. I think it's a different kind of decision making, and it's like a lot of upfront information as opposed to having some limited choices and figuring out how to best use those choices.
Unfortunately, we can't weigh products right now because we don't have any unopened copies of games to weigh to see how much they weigh. I'll look into that to see if we can figure out like some weight estimates from the factory maybe. Let me check with Blacklist though to see if we can get some information on that. Are there any other licensed IPs like Walking Dead?
There's one.
I will say that there's very few for me. Like we do have a licensed game coming up soon that we're gonna be working on that we've teased about before. Hopefully we can announce it very soon. But
it's easy to say that we prefer to build our own world.
Yeah, we're much more interested in building new IPs and and that's what we're doing with Alter Quest. Alter Quest is our first real IP that we get to kind of take control of since we work here full time at Blacklist now. It's kind of it's our say. We're doing exactly what we want to do for this IP. There's not gonna be characters in this IP that we don't approve of or like want in the IP. So that's kind of what excites us, is making new IPs, and we have like cool concepts for like a survival horror IP that we just really want to do. And again, there are tons of survival horror IPs we could use, but there's only one specific IP right now that we're trying to get that excites me. Other than that, I just more interested in doing our
and they're usually more obscure. Like we would never really that excited about like, oh, we got to get Walking Dead or some really popular IP because it's like,
yeah, we were excited to work on a Walking
Dead.
Yeah,
there was a point. Yeah, that's why.
But it wasn't. If it was like our company, we wouldn't be interested in being like, let's go get the Walking Dead IP. I don't want to deal with that.
It's easy for us to get excited about IPs and like let's say, for example, I know there's a Metal Gear Solid game coming out. If that fell on our laps, I'd be excited to work on it, but I would never think like, oh, I have to go get the Metal Gear IP. We would just make a similar world inspired by that, with our own tastes and interjected in there. So preferably, yeah, we would just take an IP we love. Like, for example, we love Resident Evil. I love that IP, but I would just as easily build an IP that's similar enough to that, takes what I like about that, removes what I don't like, and then we have our own IP that's anyone who likes Resident Evil will get connections to this and they'll excited about it. But that's just the approach we would usually prefer. We already got that one. Where can I find the size of the Aftershock box? I don't know if the size is listed on the Kickstarter page.
Yeah, because they were still finalizing it with the factory.
It's almost like a perfect cube. We have a sample at home. I haven't measured it exactly,
I think it was
but it's
12. No, it's 12 by 12. I'm not sure.
It was almost a perfect cube.
So 12 by 12 by 12.
Almost, not like
12
exactly.
inches. Well, close to 12
Yeah,
inches by 12
I
inches.
think it was like maybe 12 by 12 by 11 or something, but. Yeah, IPs. That's another problem too. Is licensing. It really slows a lot of stuff down. Like if you're
approvals.
Yeah,
take
if you're
forever.
designing something and you have X milestones to hit, those milestones revolve around when they can get approved. And that can be a pain sometimes. So it's better to have, like from a publishing standpoint, it's better to have other projects going while the licensed one's going. That way, in case there's delays, you have something else to fill those pockets of time. So I work 70 hours a week, and my job luckily gives me enough downtime to play through a game or two sometimes during the downtime. How portable would Street Masters be? It depends on how you store it. But if you were to take like a setup with you, like a stage, one of each, like I'm gonna take this fighter with me, this enemy deck, this stage, you can fit it in a pretty small box, as long as it fits the stage tile in there. But if you're taking like the core game with you, like the first wave could be broken down into the core box. I've seen people do that. I personally have everything except for the miniatures in the core box. I made a custom insert, so I can just take the core box with me and have a little suitcase full of the miniatures. But people who don't care as much about painting miniatures can just have those bagged up and probably an easier storage solution. But I wouldn't call it a portable game. But if you were determined to take it with you somewhere, you could make it portable. You could just take
it does have a small footprint though. You can play on a smaller table.
If you want to take if you're like going somewhere and like, okay, I want to take Brandon with me with the original copy stage and this enemy deck, then you can just put those in a small thin box and take them with you. It shouldn't be a problem.
So I think we might want to cut it off there.
Yeah, I think
you guys had any
we got
burning questions. We might just call it a day there.
Get back to work
and wrap up this aftershock content to get it to you guys as soon as possible. How did you guys like Monster Slaughter?
I mean, I liked the gameplay. It wasn't really my taste, but I mean, the product looked cool and it had like awesome sculpts and I like the aesthetics and stuff. I just didn't really enjoy the game. I had a copy and I traded it away, but.
All the expansions would fit into 2 boxes, I believe. Brady has his setup in this. This is all of it, right?
Yeah, and there's room in there. Like there's.
So this
was the core game with the inserts.
All the expansions in here.
No, this is just like the core game, the board, the miniatures. 'Cause if you ditch the miniature trays, you could fit a lot more. You could probably fit it all in one box. And this is like all the cards and extra stretch goals and stuff bagged up.
So yeah, this is a good way to bag it because you have all the cards set up this way. He uses a tray from the Street Masters, which I wish they had in this. But again, if we do another Brook City Kickstarter in the future to reprint, we'll probably do something storage related as well because we love storage. So.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for joining us. We'll probably do another one next week, either a live play or just a Q&A. Maybe talk more about Alter Quest. Maybe we'll have something teased we can talk about. So,
cool.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
See ya.